Everyone has a toolbox. It's our coping mechanism when things happen to us. Mine is full. In mine, I have a gift of remaining calm in most circumstances, where most people, one, become defensive, two, get angry or sad, or three, run away altogether. This has come from a place of comparing this situation to past experiences and thinking it could be worse. Today, all of this came crashing down. It's like I lost all my tools in my toolbox for the first time in so long that I was paralyzed. An emotional pain of the reality of my life and the fruit thereof. What a dejecting phone call. What a watershed moment. I've been drowning in this pit, this type of unease, the type of anxiety attack that you shout, God, take this from me. I don't want to feel this way anymore or ever again. Like birthing pains, the anxiety came and left, leaving me panting, exhausted, and falling asleep just to wake up in a deeper, more intense wave of this emotional pain and this deep despair that with each passing second swallowed me deeper and darker. The pressure of a whole tribe of elephants thumping on my chest all at once. My breath leaving my mouth in what seemed like an eternity before a single molecule of oxygen passed my trachea that to me felt like a ureter carrying down a kidney stone. My toolbox was empty. I usually take deep breaths to make my anxiety go away, calming my limbic system. But it hurt to breathe. There was this ball of emotions in my throat that I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I couldn't release. The pain intoxicated me. I passed out. 4 hours later, I woke up in complete state of gratitude. One, to be alive. Two, to be over with this emotional battle. And three, the hope of today. The entire day was an attack. Everything and everyone failed my expectations, but my toolbox was full. And I was wearing my cape too. I can fix that. I can do that. I got this. And on I went, pouring myself, wearing myself thin, but I continued to pour. My toolbox fell open in an abyss. And that's when I realized that I was also falling in this great chasm of where I have been, the reality of where I am, and the promise of God for me. The realization of this reconcile is so huge and vast that the more I fought against it, the greater the chasm grew, ever so falling. So I cried. I sobbed. I became unconsolable. But this is not me. Certainly there has to be a way to cry responsibly and take time to recoup, make time to fill my cup. And there I found one of my tools. I cried out for help to protect the heart of those around me that have never seen me this sad. The next thing was to control the chaos in my mind, organize my thoughts and emotions, get the root of my current state and why I kept losing my toolbox. So I arranged the time, but exhausted, I fell asleep. I faded. I woke up 9 hours later, right on time to spend time with my Heavenly Father. I went outside and studied the canvas in the sky. The sun was rising. The sky filled with orange and pink, hues of purple. I was overcome with peace. James came through like, blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive a crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. 112. I let that simmer. It was encouraging. When I was awakened by, you do not accept my counsel. You spurn all my reproof. So now you are eating the fruit of your own way, and bounded and woven in your own schemes. Loosely translated, Proverbs 131. This is when Stephen Furtick interrupted all my simmering and sleepwalking with, one of the best things we can do for our peace of mind is crucify our expectations of life. The goal is to live in a place where we no longer have an expectation of life to meet our needs, but rely on God. Just as Moses held his staff and performed God's miracles using it, but God was testing him and growing him through the entire journey. 40 years wandering in the desert, and there came a day of trial. Moses, go tell the rock to produce water. He instead hit the rock with the staff. This act alone extremely defined Moses' fate. He never entered the promised land, because when he first met God, he told him, I can't even speak. Send someone else. But God knew he needed to build him up. So he provided him a staff and his brother. And he used the staff to perform God's miracles. This was extremely loosely quoted. My heart exploded. It ruptured. No. It pulverized. You see, I realized why I kept losing my toolbox. God is pruning me to grow out of my own self-reliance and depend on him fully. Now this has been a long time coming, like 21 years or 252 days or 7,665 days. 252 months or 7,665 days. This thing is unnerving. This thing that has always been there. This feeling of you're not good enough, abandonment, abuse, neglect, a broken spirit, an uncultivated mind, the thoughts and beliefs and experiences that have crippled me over the years. And the future that seems so far away. All these things leaded me to a life with a multitude of poor choices. Choices that ruin family, lives, friendships, potential prospects, and even career fields and lines. So much you can't take back. 21 years later, I finally realized what God has been wanting from me. This takes me back to when I was 5, crying under a couch, repeating over and over, nobody loves me. And feeling God impressing on me gently. I can't control what other people do to you, but trust me, I have a plan and a purpose and a will for your life. Hold on, this will pass. I sat there quietly under the couch till I fell asleep, seething with anger, disbelief, and peace. All these years I'd been relied on people to get me by, things to distract me, books to help me grow, therapy, and this emotional toolbox filled with ways to protect my gentle spirit. None of the above are bad, and they were a gift of God because I've had a hard life. Nevertheless, it doesn't take 40 years in hindsight to understand that to hit the rock with a staff is wrong. It's time to put away my self-reliance and the expectation of others and finally trust God and hold to the promises. This is not my responsibility. To close the gap, to fill the chasm, nor to reconcile these two sides. That's God's job. This is when Hebrews 12:11 barged in like, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Which conjures. How long is this training? What am I training for? Am I the only one training? Are there any rest periods in this training? I don't know. Echoes of James give a noble thought. A lifetime. A lifetime. The weight of this is crushing. And in steps John 15:5. Remain in me and I in you. You will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Galatians 6:9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There's a time for everything. Exodus 33:14. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. And finally, Psalms 23:1-3. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack